Welcome, Charles. Shishasito, episodes number 4. Here.
Already.
Great to have you. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me. Great to be here in Dubai.
No, I love this. I think in-person interviews are very different, and you just get some more insights and have a better conversational flow. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I have a lot of questions. Also, you guys had a lot of questions from the audience around DYDX. I think it's been now around 7 months that DYDX has migrated from Ethereum to join the IBC gang, the Cosmos gang, launched their own Cosmos Layer 1 blockchain. And yeah, maybe we can start right there. So it's been 7 months.
Yeah.
How was that whole transition for you? Maybe give us a TLDR and some achievements since we launched in Cosmos.
So it has been prepared for many, many months, right? But essentially, end of October, early December, the DYDX chain was launched with the support of many validators and builders from the Cosmos ecosystem. After 7 months, it's already $150 billion of trading volume. So definitely the product have really convinced traders and users to move to the new infrastructure of DYDX. But also the DYDX chain means that there is validators and stakers. So today, as per today, there was 25 million USDC rewards distributed to validators and stakers. That's more or less 19% APR. These rewards are coming from the users' trading fees. So when users are using DYDX, they pay trading fees with USDCs, and these USDCs are 100% distributed to validators and stakers. There was a number, 53 different proposals. So the governance also on the DYDX chain has been very high velocity and kind of very active. Some proposals about technical upgrades, some proposals about new market launch. Talking about new market launches, an additional 50 plus markets were launched recently by the community. And an upgrade is coming up for permissionless markets. So essentially enabling new markets to be listed in a very easy manner, and the number of markets to be extended as well. Some kind of competitions among the validators. I think that's something to note as well. The chain is alive thanks to the validators and the stakers, and we've seen a very good ecosystem of validators coming and supporting the chain. Stexito is one of them. Very high performance, very big community. I think you're the largest number of stakers actually on the DYDX chain under your validator. But also some of the usual suspects of validations, some very experienced teams such as Chorus One, Figment, Blockdaemon, Kiln. And also what is happening recently is we see more and more centralized exchanges actually connecting and integrating with the DYDX chain, and also starting to run their own validators. So what it means is more diversity and very professional set of validators for the chain, and also more and more, I would say, mind share, more and more eyeballs on the DYDX chain and on the progress of the project overall. One thing I will note, maybe just in terms of connectivity with the different chains from the IBC ecosystem. There is today, roughly speaking, about 125 million USDC from nobles, which are sitting on the DYDX chain. So that's the way we get to a certain level of composability and collaborations with the ecosystem overall. Noble USDC was launched some months ago and is essentially leveraged in a big way by the DYDX chains and users. So with more or less 125 million Noble USDC sitting and at work on the DYDX chain.
Yeah, I love that you were highlighting the validators and also this Noble partnership. I think last year at Cosmos, you also had a lot of co-efforts with Noble. Because I think, for me at least, when I joined Cosmos, I felt it was a very welcoming ecosystem. And a lot of the developers, the validators, I think they were very open-minded to say and embrace outsiders like myself when I got into the ecosystem. And I think you guys 7 months ago, I think Antonio, when he made a tweet, this legendary tweet around a year ago, when this announcement was made that DYDX is coming to Cosmos, along the lines of basically, yes, we are migrating, but we're in that sense not it doesn't mean we're bearish on Ethereum, but also we don't really fully want to align us with kind of the Cosmos brand, because we care more about the product, right?
That's exactly right.
And I think now, fast forward 2024, we see the likes of Parachain, even Celestia, they're not fully railing behind Cosmos as a brand. And this gets a lot of cosmonauts maybe frustrated, or they're like, oh, they're not aligning with us. Why are they then building on us? From my perspective, and I'm curious to hear your opinions, you know, doing customers, all the events, being on the validator side, I feel like you were describing, there's still a lot of mutual respect, a lot of collaborative efforts, a lot of building, a lot of calls, coordination happening behind the scenes, which people on Twitter probably don't see. So my question is like, with this in mind, how do you feel kind of the vibes in the Cosmos ecosystem, and how is DYDX positioned inside of Cosmos?
Very good vibes, very natural and fluid collaboration whenever there is technical challenges, whenever there is a need for bridging or anything like this. I think to come back to your point, when Antonio mentioned this, that he was more focusing on the product rather than the technology itself. It's I think after a few months, we see that we are part of the Cosmos ecosystem. We remain an app chain, and an app chain focuses on its app. It's not focusing on the layer one. There is no layer one per se on Cosmos, but we are working very closely with Noble. There is some upcoming work which will be voted by the community in a few days, together with Skip Protocol, to bring new oracles. Obviously, a lot of our users are also users of Osmosis and are using and leveraging the IBC hub for moving assets all around. Many users are also using Axelar. So as an app chain, you come with your own identity, but eventually you build with the village, and you're part of this Cosmoverse, so to say.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's important for people also to hear that, because yeah, like I said, I think sometimes people, they don't really see behind Twitter, right? They're just on Twitter, and they catch some vibes that are not maybe fully accurate. But like I said, I think behind the scenes there's a lot of coordination. One of which is also the integration. It's actually two major integrations, right? One is Slinky, one is CosmWasm.
Yeah.
So let's start off with Slinky, which is developed by Skip, which is also one of the core contributing engineering teams in Cosmos. Yeah, can you maybe talk about first of all, what Slinky is and what it enables for DYDX?
Absolutely. So Slinky is a product of Skip. Slinky focuses essentially on creating a new Oracle system and price discovery system, which will be integrated within DYDX after a vote by the community in the coming weeks. So what it brings essentially is we're going to be able to expand the number of tradable markets on the DYDX protocol from 63 today to more than 800. So that's really like more than 10x growth in terms of possibilities for users to express their opinion on many different tokens. So that's very important type of upgrade. This upgrade will
is this including meme coins?
Also? Including meme coins. Yeah. So where are all these meme coins coming from? Essentially, whatever you will be able to trade on Radium from Solana, you will be able to trade it instantly on DYDX as well. So give the time for the upgrade to happen and everyone to kind of polish things. But this is really the direction of travel. Using DYDX to trade anything and starting with essentially more than 10x increase of the number of tradable markets. With this upgrade of the Oracle system and the kind of 10x growth of the number of tradable markets, there is also an underlying upgrade of the DYDX protocol, which is very important for users, which is isolated margin. So when you express your opinion via derivatives on BTC or ETH long or short or whatever you feel the market is going, there is different ways essentially the collaterals are managed. And what DYDX is about to upgrade with is essentially what we call isolated margin. So the collaterals and you will be using, for example, going long ETH or long Atom will not be mixed together with a bet you might be taking on a meme coin, which will be much more volatile. So that's very important for the user experience. It's more at the application layer, but it's kind of an upgrade coming in two ways. An Oracle system, which is really upgraded in a big way, allowing any tradable market from Radium and Solana to be listed on DYDX as a first step. Later, probably some pre-market kind of dynamics, but also in terms of user experience, this isolated margin has been in the work for a long time, and it's really an upgrade in terms of risk management and experience for the user.
Okay,
so and that's the way we discussed that a little bit earlier. That's the way also composability happens in the world of Cosmos, and we are having conversations around Cosmos here. some people told DYDX, oh, you're leaving Ethereum. How are you going to survive? All the assets are there, and Ethereum is essentially the homeland of composability. And what I've seen over the past months is within the Cosmos ecosystem, with partners, with other chains, with the hubs, with validators, with essentially you become composable in another way. It's not only composability about the asset, it's composability about your protocol, about how you bridge, how you get integrations with wallets. So this is really, I would say, something specific to Cosmos, where these multiple chains get really a very good collaborations and tangible results from that.
Yeah, and I think also remembering the time when this DYDX chain was first announced, I think one of the main kind of reasons why this was even considered in the first place was to build the best product. I think Antonio was very vocal about it on Twitter for a long time. And then also to like just enable full sovereignty and full customizability, right? And also, and we'll get there also about kind of DYDX as a native kind of a token for the DYDX chain, has a lot more utility now, obviously, because now DYDX is its own L1s, or staking, aka securing the chain, is, I guess, the main utility for DYDX today. But would you say now, in hindsight, moving to Cosmos was the right decision, or would you have done anything different?
I feel the market is telling us that's the right decisions. On average, DYDX platform moves about $1 billion of trading volume. I think a few days ago, there was $2 billion of trading. So the feedback, the market speaks for itself and saying, yes, we like the upgrade, we like the new platform, we like the way the performance are. There is a lot of things which can be improved, obviously, and many people are busy at that. But it's a good decision. It allows us also as a protocol to kind of control the full stack, from the application layer to the chain, and being able to design a chain which is dedicated to the use case of DYDX, which is DeFi and crypto derivatives. Yeah. Whatever L2, whatever L3 or L4, L5, whatever number you want to pick, eventually you always end up into some general purpose type of chain, which will be a little bit of a Swiss knife, which can do some work, but not exactly like the perfect tool for your specific use case. And as an app chain, and as a leading app chain in DeFi, the decision from the engineers was to say, okay, we need to be more in control of the full stack, improve the decentralization also. Something also to note and to remind everyone, the order book on Ethereum, DYDX Ethereum, it's public information, was essentially off-chain. Because an order book for a DeFi protocol like DYDX requires very, very high velocity and a very high number of transactions and order cancellations and order placements every second. The new design, which has been implemented and which is in production today for more than 7 months, allows to essentially decentralize the order book. And what it means is going further in decentralization and being much more clearer and much more opinionated about who you are. And we are a DeFi protocol. We don't want to sit between two chairs or being half decentralized. As much as we can decentralize, we've been able to decentralize it. And for the users and the users of the protocol, they also have now an order book which is highly efficient, high performance, but also totally transparent. And what we learn from very sophisticated users and market makers and institutionals, it's really kind of groundbreaking to be able to read the market constantly and knowing what's happening, how the transactions, how the orders are behaving, why this or this user is having a better P&L than you or me, and being able to train your algorithm and essentially learn from the best by this higher degree of transparency on the order book. If you go on a centralized exchange, you're essentially behind a black box and you're trying to guess how the market has been reacting and why this has happened. On pure DeFi and on the DYDX chain, you get total transparency. So you get to learn. If you put the right resources on this kind of topic, you get to learn from the market in a very efficient way. And that's very new. And that's a very strong proposition against some other type of DeFi exchange or centralized exchanges.
Okay, so Slinky is the first major integration now, an Oracle integration. Another one is also CosmWasm, right? The native smart contract framework in Cosmos land. There's basically 2 ways to integrate it. I guess one is in a permissioned way, which is what a lot of Cosmos chains have, including Osmosis, for example. And also the Cosmos Hub is going to get later this year. And then one is also a permissionless one. I think on Twitter, to me, when I first read the announcement that DYDX is going to integrate CosmWasm, it sounded that it's a permissionless integration, but I think it's going to be a permissioned one, right? Can you maybe talk about that, and also what this enables, what this unlocks?
So this integration with CosmWasm will come later down the road. So give it a few more months, but essentially there is this roadmap which is progressing very steadily, but it's not for next week. The community will vote on how to implement CosmWasm. Most probably from the kind of conversations we hear and we see on the DYDX forums, the performance of the chain and the applications are very, very, very important. So if it was in a permissionless way, you will probably put yourself at the risk of having too many things being deployed in a disorganized way and having the performance of the protocol just dropping massively. So I would believe that the community will decide that it will be a permission way of implementing CosmWasm in order for the community to decide and kind of implementing new features built with the support of CosmWasm one at a time and in a logical way without kind of challenging the performance and the user experience.
Yeah, and I think one also, you mentioned earlier some numbers, right? But like one major change that now this Cosmos chain unlocks is also the entire economic circulation within the DYDX ecosystem, right? And the DYDX token obviously mainly is there now to secure the chain for governance, and it also has kind of a utility within, also I guess as native gas. But yeah, you mentioned earlier, I mean, I think $25 million you said were distributed, and the APR in DYDX is also in USDC and not inflated DYDX tokens, right? That are like tokens that are basically emission tokens that are giving out as incentives, right? So it's actual protocol revenue in USDC that you're getting for staking DYDX. Can you maybe break that down?
I think you got it perfectly right. And maybe to do a little bit of generalization, when you stake your DYDX token on the DYDX chain, you don't get DYDX. You get USDCs. These USDCs are coming from the trading fees paid by the users to use the protocol. This kind of alignment between token holders and the application level have never been seen before.
Yeah,
it's very complicated to implement, and the fact that DYDX is now its own chain, the token economics are really very unique to DYDX now, and I think many people are looking at how things are done now and what is available to the stakers. Last time I checked, 20,000 stakers on the DYDX chain, essentially getting rewards in USDC every block time. And this rewards APR is not decided by the protocol or not decided by governance. It's essentially related to the trading volumes of the day or of the block, I would say. So every second, the block time on the DYDX chain is every second. You get like a drip of the fees which were collected within this block and shared to the validators and to the stakers. So that's a very strong token economics upgrade. Again, you don't get to fear about like, okay, what is the inflation of DYDX? The inflation of DYDX is the same on Ethereum as it was on Ethereum as it is today. But anyway, when you stake DYDX, you get rewarded in USDC. And that's something which is very unique if you decide to stake. If you don't stake your DYDX, you get nothing. They have to be put at work for securing the chain via validators.
Okay, and I also have one more question. So very simple question, I guess. But for example, I mean, there's a lot of tokens launching all the time, right? You said earlier how the market is basically going to 12x from 63 to over 800, right?
Yeah.
So how about like big token launches, like I guess Initia, a Bera chain, right? Bera is going to be a big token that will probably have a big market cap, a lot of like demand from traders and everything. How would Bera get listed on DYDX? What would the process be like?
So there is many different paths. We need to wait for this upgrade to happen. But essentially, we could imagine that we might have a pre-market for the Bera token. And then we can have maybe the Bera project to choose to have like a trade drop to incentivize and kind of accelerate the price discovery. It's important to remember that a lot of the spot price of any token is essentially heavily influenced and designed by the opinion of the market on the derivative market. Derivative markets are 10 times bigger than spot markets. So futures contracts and perpetuals, as you can find on the DYDX protocol, are really kind of driving and steering the price discovery of those projects. So Bera, if we take this example, when the time comes, they will be able to come and lease the token. They will be able to incentivize the users of DYDX supporting the token kind of trading via this trade drop program. And this trade drop program will be available. I'm told it's in alpha version now. Will be available for any projects. Will they be first on the Cosmos ecosystem, but also later in some other ecosystems as well. So think of the revolution that Uniswap brought to the token trading and the spot markets. Exactly the same is happening right now with DYDX with the permissionless markets, being able to trade anything thanks to this update and this new oracle via Slinky and some other upgrades which are coming.
But so basically, this trade drop program, when it's live, it will basically enable the communities of that new project to basically incentivize the trading on DYDX.
Exactly.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because right now that doesn't exist. It's all basically organic.
So the trading today is stimulated by the market dynamics. There is also a trading rewards program. So over the past 6 months, $20 million has been rewarded to traders and users of the protocol. So when you use DYDX to express your opinion on long atom or short Bitcoin, whatever you decide, you will get automatically within your trade some DYDX tokens as a reward, right? And this program will keep on going. But then for projects, if they want to accelerate the adoption, the mind share, and the price discovery of projects, since the platform is totally transparent, they will be able to say, okay, we're going to essentially look at who is trading on DYDX, the Bera token, for example, and saying, okay, whoever is within terms and conditions the project will decide, will be able to drop to those wallets some tokens of their project. It's valid for the existing project who wants to keep people engaged, but also valid for upcoming project as well. So keep an eye on this. There is a lot of people which are excited about that. But it's really kind of, again, aligning the kind of market behaviors of users with your project dynamics.
Okay, so we got Slinky, CosmWasm, the trade drop program. This sounds like a very ambitious kind of year-end roadmap, right? We're already in June now.
This is the summer roadmap. This is the summer roadmap only. And this is
so what's the year-end roadmap? What do you want to achieve by, let's say, December 31st this year?
It's co-designed with the DAO, the Grants DAO. It's co-designed with the DYDX trading and the engineers over there and many people building. We look forward to the hackathon at Cosmoverse in Dubai in a few months. I think behind the concept of trade anything, there is obviously like a first wave of additional crypto assets being tradable on DYDX. That's a very big part. That's where we're talking about like going from 60 plus tradable markets to essentially 800. But then it comes also with some new potentials of how you want to consume DYDX, for example. Do you want to go via a user interface? Do you want to have maybe DYDX coming to your wallet? Should it be Kepler? Should it be some other wallets? Maybe some Web3 wallets from centralized exchanges are looking at essentially facilitating access to DeFi for their users, and also that can be a way for them to decide to essentially give access to DYDX to their users this way. So I think there is on the application layer a lot of potentials, and these are on the work, but also in the way the protocol will be consumed. I can definitely see a world where people will consume DYDX via multiple different entry points. Should it be via a non-custodial wallet from a centralized exchange, a non-custodial, like pure non-custodial wallet, but also via some other parts. Why not in integrations with Airbit or Keynote or many different ways? And maybe one thing also I wanted to update you on is the launch of the DYDX app on Android, which is something which has been expected by many different users. It's now live on the Play Store from Android. That's going to unlock also a lot of new users and more mind shares and more traffic.
So I think in Cosmos, a lot of people always think like, okay, what is DYDX doing for us? But I want to ask you, what can the Cosmos community do for DYDX?
Keep building, keep the good spirits, keep bringing more assets for DYDX users to kind of trade on. Support the existing projects such as Osmosis, Noble, express your ask to the centralized exchanges, your favorite wallets, your favorite validators, to make sure that they integrate with DYDX. And we are happy also to support some other initiatives within the ecosystem. Noble is one of them. Axelar is also offering some bridges for people who can, when you get your rewards from staking on DYDX, you get USDCs, right? Yeah. And then people are free to go and spend them on DYDX, go and spend them on Osmosis, go and spend them maybe on a card, or bridge them back to Ethereum, and do some other things over there. So keep building these bridges so that really the narrative of the multi-chain really keeps kind of expressing itself and growing.
And talk to each other nice. No more drama.
No more drama.
Well done with it. I just got my questions out. I'm going to ask you that in a second, but maybe on a higher level. I think also, I guess crypto in general is a still very, very volatile industry, right? We came out of a very dry, frustrating 2-year bear market where it was really, really bad for a long time. Now it feels like, the tide has risen again. There's more positive sentiment, more liquidity coming in. Obviously, the ETFs also play a big role there. But where do you see kind of specifically the DeFi ecosystem matured over the years? And what do you think is probably going to be some things, some innovations, or anything that's like specific to maybe this cycle, let's say rest of this year, 2025, that wasn't around in 2020, 2021 when you guys started?
I think we should not be afraid to thinking of hybrid users of DeFi. For me, it's not segregated. And I can definitely foresee that centralized exchanges, which are essentially owning hundreds of millions of users, there is more users of centralized exchanges than DeFi, right?
Yeah.
And I definitely see them kind of bridging DeFi and facilitating access to DeFi. The reality is, if you use DeFi today, you need to be passionate about that. It's going to be like hops between wallets and chain and bridges. It's complicated. So I think making ourselves comfortable that DeFi might be consumed in different ways, and some people might be using DeFi from their Coinbase wallets or from their Binance wallet, and that's perfectly fine. And also, I believe these centralized exchanges, which again have so much users, which can potentially really support all of us, should it be in DeFi in general or DeFi within Cosmos, those centralized exchanges will become like the banks we have today. And if you think about your bank today, it's essentially an aggregator of financial products. The core business of your bank is to receive your salary and offer you like a saving account. But then every bank will offer you like an insurance plan. They will offer you access to stock markets. They will offer you different type of investments and plans. And I definitely see a world where essentially the distribution of DeFi will evolve. And I don't see why the distribution should be so different from what the people are used to, is to go into one place and having facilitation of access to this without having to worry or deep dive into too much.
Okay, so the main question I got for you from the Twitter community was around a Kepler integration for traders. So when is that coming?
So I'm not part of the engineer team. The DYDX Foundation is busy on many different things, but we're not really per se building all these different pieces of code. My understanding is there is some complexities around the private key management, and there is like much more users today which are consuming DYDX via APIs or via their EVM type of wallets. So I know it's in the works, it's on the roadmap. Thanks everyone for your patience. That's maybe a nice idea and a good project for the hackathon we would love to see organized during Cosmoverse.
Nice, sounds bullish, yeah. Yeah, and I think also maybe it's important to point out here that DYDX trading is basically the engineering team, and then the DYDX Foundation is basically doing all of the marketing efforts, right? Is that right?
Yeah, there is. If you want an update on the mapping of the DYDX ecosystem, so essentially there is one entity, DYDX Trading, which is led by Antonio Giuliano. They are really the founders of DYDX. Since DYDX has expanded to the DYDX chain, the foundation kind of ramp up, And the rules now are kind of splitted between DYDX trading, DYDX foundation. There is a grants DAO. So the grants are coming from the community via the DAO, which was created by the community. The grants DAO is supporting the Slinky integration, for example. The grants DAO has been deploying and supporting hundreds of projects, building with or adjacent to the DYDX chain. And there is also the operation DAO. The operation DAO is running DYDX.trade, where you can experience essentially DYDX before, as well as running some core services. So these are the four main kind of groups, and everyone has his own kind of specialties. But yes, the coding and the open source software is developed by DYDX Trading. The foundation supports a lot of the governance initiative, making sure people understand how governance works and making sure we keep like a high velocity governance. We help with some strategic BD initiatives. We help essentially being a little bit the steward of the ecosystem for every newcomers. Then the grants DAO distributing grants in a very strategic manner, as well as the operation DAO running services. So that's the four main entities, plus the validators, plus the people building on DYDX. If we do some kind of back of the napkin accounting, or calculation, there is probably 500 people which are almost full-time on DYDX via so many different entities, 60 validators, builders, the foundation, grantees. There is like so many different people involved. So that's really amazing to see, and it makes us a very proud and busy family.
Nice. Then we also have a question on YouTube from Olus. He's asking, how does DYDX differ from other decentralized exchanges, and what offers are they planning to bring on the board that will be different from what other exchanges currently offer?
Absolutely, excellent. So DYDX differentiates itself in many different ways. So DYDX focuses exclusively on perpetuals since 2018. So that's really like many years to build a product which is very robust. The derivative market is the largest market in crypto. It's 10 times bigger than spot. That's very important to capture. Every time there is an atom, every time there is a Bitcoin being traded on spot, 10 Bitcoin and atoms are traded on derivatives. So this is way bigger. And this market is also still very much off-chain. 98% or so of the crypto derivative market volumes are happening on centralized exchanges, the Binance, the Coinbase, the OKX of the world. And if you look at the evolution of the spot market over the past years, in short, Uniswap represents today 10 to 15% of the spot trading today. And I don't see any reasons why the migration away from centralized and kind of off-chain trading on derivative will not move on-chain. So today, 2% on-chain, DYDX represents more than 1% of that. And how do we differentiate ourselves is with the trust of the brand, the quality of the API. That sounds very simple, but actually a very strong API is very important for very large and systematic traders. And that's where the big volumes are coming. And also the constant innovation with additional markets. We're expanding 800 markets suddenly. There is also the integration with Elixir to facilitate liquidity on long tail assets. But eventually it's decentralized finance, and finance is trust. So you want to be diligent. You don't want to be kind of distracted by the noise of a competitive project launching a new token. We see some of the project launching tokens or launching point systems, and after this program kind of ends, the volume dropping. So the most important is to keep building like strategic infrastructure, extremely strong product, quality and long-term relationship with key players, bringing the liquidity and leveraging the protocol. That's kind of the normal stuff. But then you look at the numbers and you see that if your diligence has been paying off, and we are very grateful for all the users of DYDX today bringing $1 billion of trading like a Swiss clock every single day for many years now. So that's something we just want to keep nurturing without thinking like, should we jump in the next shiny thing? There is a need for innovation. It's good to have competitors, and we welcome them, but we are also very, I would say, focused on bringing what is the real value: performance, decentralization, and innovation at the application level.
Final question: how is DYDX leveraging liquidity on their exchange?
So there is this trading reward program. So first, there is the organic liquidity. DYDX is a place for trading derivative for many years, and the biggest players in the space are using DYDX. Then there is this trading reward program, which works in seasons. So we are starting, I think, the 5th season, which is managed by Chaos Lab, like a third party, and essentially the community is voting on supporting the traders and the market makers, so they get incentives there. And then it's a lot via tooling and analytics to make sure that the market making on DYDX is easy, is efficient, is rewarding as well, so that it comes and brings. And then for the 800 new markets, this is where the challenge of liquidity comes in. There is this upcoming integrations with Elixir, which will help essentially to have a mini system of automatic market makers on new and smaller markets to make sure that the experience for the users is adequate. And then whenever the market kind of grow, naturally the market maker comes in and then kind of support the market making of the market. The goal is to get and to keep a healthy marketplace. Listing new markets is exciting, specifically for the project and some kind of early users, but you don't want to have something which becomes not healthy and kind of
like a weight that you have to carry around.
Exactly. And the users burning their fingers on markets which are not efficient enough or extremely volatile. So that's very important to come back to this user views of things.
But it definitely sounds the derivatives market pie is big enough, and there's still a lot of upsides to capture more value. And yeah, this is very exciting. So any final words to the Cito community, Cosmos community? What's your final words?
Thanks everyone for your support. The Cito community, if you're staking with Stake Cito, thanks for your support. You're a major contributor to the chain, and you are, I think, 2,500 stakers on Stake Cito. So thank you for that. Keep voting on the proposals. Stay engaged. Spread the word about these trade drop programs and this 800 new markets coming from Solana first and then from other places, and keep thinking on how you can essentially leverage DYDX and let us know how we can help you whenever we can.
Nice. Yeah. Also, obviously, thank you from my side for all Stake Cito delegators. One very final question. You mentioned earlier Cosmoverse or Hackmas. Maybe there's some stuff to build. What is maybe your call to action for anybody that's maybe interested to come to Cosmoverse for the first time and they want to maybe build stuff or they want to get involved in DYDX? What are your plans this year, and what would you like to see happening?
So DYDX will be at Cosmoverse as we were last year in Istanbul. We had a fantastic time over there. It's builders first. It's very low noise and high quality conversation. So DYDX will be at Cosmoverse Dubai. We are still defining the details of how we're going to get involved here, but there will be probably a DYDX Connect. So it will going to be an half day or maybe a full day. We will find out. Really dedicated to the people involved and building with DYDX, so we can spend some time together, share some updates. There is so many people building with us that we want to get some quality time together. And if you're thinking, if you're exploring, if you're part of the ecosystem of Cosmos, Cosmoverse is de facto the Cosmos event. So I really invite people to join us. We will be there in force.
That sounds bullish, yeah. And I think this year is going to be even bigger than last year. I think last year was big, but also it was still the bear market year. So this year, I think people are more relaxed. You know, the market's been recovering a bit, so it's going to be exciting. But yeah, thank you so much, Charles, for your time and all your insights. And yeah, looking forward to see you latest in October at Cosmos. Cool, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.